righty, so let's get started. So, have I got my mics on yet? Both mics. No, you're fine there. All righty, so we're going to start lying down then, guys. So laying flat on the floor, palms facing up. We're going to close down the eyes. We're going to begin to connect to our breath. So start by taking a big inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then filling up the lungs, we're going to hold the breath at the top. Suspending the breath inwards. Taking some more air. And take a big sigh away. Just allow your body just to sink into the surface beneath you. Imagine just being held by Mother Earth. And really coming into that place of deep surrender. So during this practice, just particularly this relaxation, just surrendering to gravity, allowing gravity to pull you into the earth. Surrendering also to the outcome of the practice. So we can often engage in something just for the result, and then we kind of miss the process. So if you decided to go and hike a mountain and somebody offered you a lift to the summit, you'd probably say no, because you're going to miss the actual adventure. The main part of a hike is the actual hike, not just summiting the mountain. So in that same principle, we can come into our practice in this mindset and just surrendering to the outcome of the practice. And I think often we try and force outcomes as well, don't we? So when I say come into a place of surrender, we're surrendering on multiple levels. So on your next inhalation, we're going to start to float the hands up into the sky above the face. And as you exhale, float them over the top of the head. Inhale, floating all the way back up. And then floating all the way back down. Inhale, float up. Exhale, float down over the top of the head. Inhale, float up. And exhale, float down. This time we're going to inhale as we float up. Exhale, take the hands above the head and then stretch the fingers out and then push down through the heels. See if we can almost lift the heels up off the floor while the calves are still on the earth, if you know what I mean. So we're just extending everything out. And as you exhale, we're going to draw the right knee into the chest. We're going to pull that in towards the body. And we're going to take some circles with the right foot. Down. That's it. And then take those circles the other way around. Cracking and popping as you go. My ankles always sound like popping candy. All right then. So start to point the toe and then flex it. Point and flex. Point and flex. And then just pull the knee in towards the body a little bit more. Feel into that hip. And relax your shoulders so the pressure's coming from the hands, not the shoulders. So still surrendering the shoulders to the mat. And then we're going to take an inhale here. And as you exhale, take your forehead to the knee. Engage the core by drawing the navel in towards the spine. And then slowly lower all the way back down. Take an inhale here. Exhale, taking the forehead to the knee, drawing the navel in. And then float all the way back down to the mat. Take an inhale. Exhale, floating up. And then extend out. So kick up through the right heel and bring the arms up in the air. Core's nice and activated. And then slowly start to lower everything all the way down and in towards the mat. So the hands are above the head. And then we're going to draw the left knee up towards the chest. So squeezing that into the body. So I don't know about you, Jenny, but Mondays, I don't know if it was Monday's class or Wednesday's class. My thighs are killing me from it. Yeah, it must be. So squeezing in towards the body. So feel into your left hip. Keeping that nice and activated, surrendering those shoulders, then taking inhale. Exhale, drawing the forehead to the knee. Inhaling, lowering all the way back down. All right, take a breath here. Take another inhale. Exhale, draw the forehead to the knee. Exhale down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, forehead to the knee. And then kick up through the heel, arms go out. So you're almost in like an upside down V shape. Core's activated, and then slowly start to lower everything all the way back down. And then bring both knees up towards the chest. Just gently start to rock the sacrum up off the floor as you draw those knees in. And then we're going to take some circles with the knees. So bring the knees up to the chest. We're going to keep the toes together. Take the knees out to the side. Take them down, back together, all the way back up again. Out, round, and together. Up, out, round, together. Up, out, down, together. And then come all the way back up and then go down the center. So opposite circles. So take them out to the side in this figure of 8, and then down the center again. And then place both feet on the floor. We're going to take the soles of the feet together as we allow the knees to fall out to the side. You might want to just place a fist underneath your hips just to support those. I'm just going to move my mat forwards a little bit. Okay, so let the knees just fall in towards the earth. And then we're going to take a gun above the head. So forefinger and thumb together. And then bend the elbows as we take that gun over the top of the head. And just feel that bit of opening of the chest and the hips. Inhale as you bring the arms all the way back up and take them down by the side. We're going to lift the knees up and then heel toe your feet out to the side of the mat and allow your knees to fall inwards now. So we're feeling into that on the hip flexors. And depending on whether your hips are naturally internally or externally rotated in the sockets, one of them will have been a little bit more challenging than the other. I find this one more challenging. You might find the opening might be more challenging. And then heel toe your feet to hip distance and just take your knees from side to side. I love a slow, steady start to a class. Bit of a difference from your kind of Ashtanga where you get straight into your sun salutations. Let's ease ourselves into it gradually. It is Friday after all. We want that Friday feeling of kind of, yeah, just settling into the weekend instead of it being 100 miles an hour. Let the knees fall over to the right. We're going to bring the arms in a cactus shape and just turn your head to face the left. And then back to center. Over to the other side, turn your head to face the right. And then come back to center. We're going to bring the knees up to the chest again. Lift the sacrum slightly up off the floor. Engage the core, so draw the navel in towards the spine. Take an inhale. Exhale, forehead to knee. Trying to get as much of the body up off the mat as you possibly can. And exhale, releasing. Inhaling here. And exhaling again. One more inhale. And as you exhale, lifting up, trying to just come right onto the middle of the back if you can. Making sure the core's engaged. And exhale, drawing all the way back down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, engage the core and draw the forehead to the knee. And then this time extending out into an upside down, downward facing dog. Pointing out through the tiptoes, stretching out through the fingertips, make sure the core's engaged, and slowly start to lower everything down. Any twinges in the back, just place the feet flat on the floor. And then draw the arms back down by the sides. Draw the knees back up again. Engage the core. Take an inhale. Exhale, forehead to knee. Extend out. And lower down. Draw the arms back down by the side. One more of those then. Draw the knees up. Engage the core. Take an inhale. Exhale, nose to knee or forehead to knee. And then extend out. And then draw the knees back in. And we're going to roll now backwards and forwards. We're going to then see in 3 if we can land in boat pose, so Navasana. So we're going to try and land in between the sit bone and the tailbone. So maybe taking hold of the backs of the knees and start to roll backwards and forwards. And in 3, 2, 1, see if we can land in a bit of a boat pose here. So lifting the chest high and drawing the tummy button in, hold it there. And then slowly start to lower everything all the way back down. Again, be mindful of that lower back, drawing the knees up again. We're going to take some rocks and rolls. And in 3, 2, 1, see if we can land in our boat pose. Hold it there, gaze to the toenails. And then lower. One more of those then. Rocking and rolling backwards and forwards. And in 3, 2, 1, land in your boat pose. Hold it there. Core in, chest high. And lower. Okay, let's roll up to seated. Okie dokie. So from here, we're going to start working with the spine. So we're going to start with the Sufi grind or some seated circles. So bring the chest forwards and then start to roll all the way around. So we're going to connect this to the breath. Inhale as you come forwards. Exhale as you come back. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. Inhale forwards and exhale back. Let's take the circles the other way around. Inhaling forwards, exhaling back, forwards, exhale back. 2 more. And come to center. If we can, you're going to come onto your knees. And if that feels like it's too much, just take your feet out in front. We're working up the spine now. Okay, so just turn the tailbone all the way under and then flip it back out again. Under and out. Under and out. Under and out. Okay, lift the head back. Take an inhale here. Exhale, diving down. Rolling up on the inhale. And rolling down on the exhale. Oh, I hate it when I forget to tie my hair back. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale up. And exhale. One more of those then. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Coming all the way back up on the inhale, and we'll exhale at the top. We're going to bring the hands to the shoulders. So from here, we'll inhale as we come left and exhale as you come right. So feeling that twist and separation of the vertebra. A few more of these. And then come back to center. So we're going to make our way now into Vinyasa-style, tabletop position. So make sure that the wrists are underneath the shoulders and the knees are underneath the hips, coming into some cat-cows here. So pulling the tummy down. and then lifting the chest up. So feel that stretch on the front body and lower back. And exhale, push away from the mat with your hands and round the spine off chin to chest. Tummy down, head up. Exhale, chin to chest. Tummy down, head up. And exhale, chin to chest. Come into a neutral spine. We're going to step the right foot in between the hands. Take a little bit of a shimmy forwards, and we're just going to lift up and place a hand on the knee. And then start to gently lunge forwards and feel that stretch on the left hamstring. So it's not hamstring, sorry, quadricep. This is where I'm feeling it from the Monday and Wednesday classes. Yeah. All right, straight in the front leg. Take your nose to the knee, lift the ball of the foot up. Breathe into it. You want to feel this right at the back of the knee. And then crawl forwards. We're going to heel toe the right foot out to the right side of the mat. Bring your hands inwards. And you can either just drop your hips low, or you can come onto your elbows, whatever feels right for you. We're going to hold this for a few breaths. Keep nice and steady with this. Allow gravity to do its thing. And then come all the way back up. We're going to heel toe this right foot over to the left hand. Take the body slightly further forwards and then drop the knee down. Easier said than done. Coming into our pigeon pose. And then we're going to slowly start to crawl the hands forwards and take the head down. Now, if that feels too much, then you can stay upright. But what we don't want to do is roll onto the right hip, so the right hip ends up on the floor. If it's on the floor naturally, then that's great, but the hips need to be in alignment. So we're going to hold this pose for a few breaths. I'm just going to go and grab a bottle. Do you want one? Oh, there's only one left. Sorry. I have to chuck my... They're just letting gravity pull you down. You want to be feeling that right in those hips. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the elbows in. Slowly start to raise up. And then turn the left toe underneath. Take a bit of a shimmy forwards. And then we're going to kick into a three-legged dog. And then we're going to open the hips. So bend the right knee and then rotate the right hip to sit on top of the left hip. And then just look over your right shoulder. Come back to center. If you need to drop to your left knee, you can do, or we can step that front foot forwards. We're going to stay on the ball of the back foot and then raise the hands high here for a crescent lunge. And then take the left hand forward and the right hand back as we come into a side twist. Right hand comes over and then kick back into a downward facing dog, and we'll begin to pedal those heels out and see if you can feel the difference between those two legs now. And then drop to your knees. So we're going to do like a skipping rope now with the spine. So tummy down, head up, move your hips over to the right, and then lift up into cat pose. So the back's coming up, and then over to the left. Drop the tummy down and then rotate over to the right. So like a skipping rope. And then to the other side. So over to the left first, up and around and over to the right. And then come to a neutral spine. We're going to just hop the left foot forwards in between the hands. And then bring the hands onto that knee, onto the left knee. And then start to lunge forwards. Feeling that deep stretch and breathing into it. And then straighten the leg, hands to floor, nose to knee, and lift the ball of the foot up off the floor. And then we'll walk the hands forwards and heel toe this left foot to the outer side of the left mat. So come into a lizard pose. So either just drop your hips here or take your elbows down. Keeping your breath steady as you feel right into the back of this left hamstring. Just finding the pose that works for you and your body. And then come back onto the hands as we heel toe this left foot to the right wrist. And then drop the knee down. Slide back with the right foot. You can either stay nice and tall here, or you can start to crawl down onto the floor. As we come into our pigeon pose, which is quite an intense pose, really. I like it because, like I say, if I've been doing lots of squats in my other classes, it's just a really nice release from that. Or if you've maybe been doing a lot of hiking or gardening, or anything that basically requires you getting up and down a lot. You know, so it's really, really good for kind of releasing off that. And then we're going to bring the hands onto the mat again. Turn the back toe underneath, shimmy forwards a little bit, and then we're going to kick into our three-legged dog. So left foot's high, and then bend the knee, rotate the left hip, sit on top of the right hip, and just look up under your left armpit. We're going to come back to center, either drop to your right knee or step the left foot forwards. Stay on the ball of the back foot as we raise the hands high here for a crescent lunge. And then the right hand goes forward, left hand comes back. So turning towards that bent knee. So come into our side twist. And then this time, as we rotate the left arm all the way over, we're going to hop into a halfway lift. So shoulders are up, chest is down. And exhale as you tuck into a nice deep forward fold. And then bend the knees. Place the tummy on top of the thighs and take hold of the elbows as we gently sway from side to side. Release the hands, take the chin to the chest and roll all the way up. We're going to bring those shoulders up and then roll them back. All right, warm up done, guys. Let's have a quick drink. Everyone all right at home? Is the lighting okay? It feels a bit dull. Yeah, I think we're all right. We're all gravy.
Yeah, all good.
Excellent. Righty. Okay. So we're going to come into our flow sequence now. So I want you to be mindful that if you're feeling like you want more of a gentle practice, you're not going to take vinyasas. But if not, if you are wanting something a little bit more, you can take a vinyasa in between each one of the kind of sides, if you know what I mean. So toes are together, heels are apart. We're going to bring the shoulders up and back. And inhale as we bring the hands to the sky. Vinyasa-style, taking a back bend from the upper back. And then draw the prayer down the center line as we come into forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, and then bend the knees. We're going to bring the hands to the heart space and step back into that crescent lunge again. So we're on the ball of the back foot. Raising the hands here for our crescent lunge. Okay, keep your gaze focused and energetically pull your feet towards one another. Then take the arms back and the weight forward as we come into our runner's lunge. Bringing the hands to the heart space, we're going to use the power of the left thigh to hop into a warrior three with prayer hands. Hold it there. A few more breaths here. Bending that left knee and stepping back into a warrior one. Raising the hands high, gaze is forward. Left hand forward, right hand back. Warrior two. That's it. So you can either just step into halfway lift and swap your feet around, or you can take a vinyasa here by taking the right hand over, spin on the ball of the back foot and hop back as we lower down for chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog, and exhaling to downward facing dog. So right foot's high and step it forward, but stay on the ball of the back foot. Raising the hands high. Back into our crescent lunge, remembering that we're energetically pulling the feet towards one another and fixing our gaze on something forwards that's not moving. And then take the arms back and the weight forward as we come into our runner's lunge. Hold it there. Bring the hands to the heart. Use the power of the right thigh. So taking the weight a little bit further forwards and slowly start to raise that left foot up off the floor. Hold it there. And then step back to a warrior one. And exhale to warrior two. So you can either step forward into a halfway lift or take a vinyasa. So left hand comes over, spin on the ball of the back foot and hop back. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, gaze forward, and we'll meet in halfway lift. So shoulders are up, chest is down. Exhale, tuck into deep fold. Inhale, hands to sky. And exhale, back down. Tamasiti. Okie dokie. Inhale as we come into Utkatasana, so sinking low and reaching high. We're going to hold this little pose here. So making sure the chest is high and the gaze is forward, but we can see our feet. So once you've checked, then lift your head back up again. And then bring your hands to the heart space as we fire from the glutes and bounce. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sink low. Hold it there. And then fire. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it even lower. Breathe into it. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders up and chest down. And then bend the knees, bringing the hands to heart space. And then we're stepping back with the right foot into crescent lunge again. So on the ball of the back foot, we're going to raise the hands high. I'm going to turn around because otherwise I'll have my back to you. All right, hold it there. From here, we're going to come into either a high side lunge or a low side lunge. So we're pivoting round on the ball of the back foot and the heel of the front foot. So either here or drop all the way down. Okay, we're going to bring the hands to the heart space if we can. If you're finding balance a struggle, bring your hands to the floor. If you've managed to kind of get upright, see if we can take an outward rotation of that right foot. This is the pose that always makes people a little bit wobbly. So we're going to do a transition backwards and forwards. So hands are coming to the floor. Come all the way over to the other side. And making sure that the foot that we're kind of balancing on is facing the side of the mat. Come back into our balance again. And then we're going to place hands to the floor, but a little lighter, keeping the bottom a little lower. Crawling over to the other side. Hands to floor. Even lighter, bottom even lower. Over to the other side. They can be agony, these, if you're not used to them, but yeah, they're super good for you. All right, hands to floor, barely touching the floor now. All right, let's see if we can transition without the hands. Don't worry if you can't. The main thing is that you're making progress each time. So maybe we'll just have the fingers really lightly touched. If you know that you can do it without your hands, you're taking hold of your elbows and then you keep your bottom low. You transition over. All right, then you stay at that side, Jenny, because I think we're one out. All right, then. And over to the other side. And then hands either side of this left foot. We're taking the nose to the knee. So straightening that front leg. And just breathe into this stretch. Seeing how it's feeling in the body. And as you take your next inhale, let's draw this right hand all the way up. Take it on the back leg, followed by the left, sliding down. And then we're going to come into a warrior two. Holding our warrior two, we're rolling the shoulders down the back, gazing forward over that middle finger. And then the right hand's coming all the way over, spinning on the ball of the back foot and hopping back into a plank position. Lower down for chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. And exhaling, downward facing dog. Okie dokie. So, I forgot what leg did we just do there? I've got a feeling it was left. All right, then, right foot's high. We're going to step that forwards. I know. Sorry, guys, if I've confused you. I'm just going to say do the opposite side because then we know where we're at. All right, raising the hands high for your crescent lunge. And then as we rotate, we're going to come into either a high side lunge here or a low side lunge down here. This definitely feels right. We must have done the left leg first. I've thrown myself out by doing left first. I never normally do that. All righty. It is, yeah. I can't mentally rotate things once I've shifted. All right, hands to the floor. Transition over to the other side. See if we can come back into that balance. And then see if we can straighten up a little bit. See if we can get head, heart, root in alignment. Excellent. All right, hands to the floor. Let's see if we can go a little lighter on the hands as we transition over to the other side. Okay, hands barely touching. Yeah. Is it? You always find one harder than the other. And then take it to your edge. So whatever was the easiest, well, not the easiest one for you, the most challenging for you. So you can always just take hold of your elbows here. Stay low. Scoopy, scoopy all the way over to the other side. And lift back up. Wonderful work, guys. All right, hands either side of the right foot. Spin on the ball of the back foot and take your nose down to the knee. And on the next inhalation, draw the left hand all the way up, followed by the right. Legs are straight. Come into that reverse trikonasana. And then come into a warrior two. So your options here are just to step forward into a halfway lift or take a vinyasa as the left hand comes over, spin on the ball of the back foot and step back into a plank position. We'll lower down for chaturanga. Inhaling as we come into upward facing dog and exhaling as we come into a downward facing dog. Bend the knees and gaze forward and we'll meet in our halfway lift, shoulders up and chest down. Exhaling as we come into a deep fold. Inhale, Utkatasana, sink low, reach high. Exhale, Tamasitihi. All righty, well done. Grab a drink. I'm going to crack some windows. It's getting a bit warm in here. So nice to be able to actually have the windows open, isn't it? Haven't you? Oh, we had them all open yesterday. All the conservatory windows, not the conservatory, the bifolds and the patio windows. Right, what time are we on? How's everyone doing? Are you all right? Yeah, gordo. All right, let's crack on then. Checking the time, righty. So I've got time for probably a couple more flows here before we come back on to doing our floor work. Okay. So either hip distance with your feet or toes together, heels apart, whatever feels most comfortable for you. So we're going to come into, again, we can take a vinyasa if you want to take a vinyasa. And your chaturangas, if you want to do a vinyasa, but you're not great with your chaturangas, you're lowering down, you can do a half from your knees. Or if you really want to supercharge it, we can do a three-legged chaturanga. All right, then. So inhale as you bring the hands to the sky, Urdhva upward back bend. Exhale, draw the prayer down the center line, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to floor. Walk, step or jump back into a plank position. And then lower down, full or half chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. It's very army, this one, guys. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, so we're going to come into a three-legged dog from here. Hold it there. Or you can just drop your foot down and do another chaturanga, or you can come into a three-legged chaturanga by taking the weight forward into a plank position and then lower the body down. And then inhale as you come into upward facing dog. And then exhale as you come into a downward facing dog. Left foot's high, three-legged dog. Either come into your three-legged chaturanga or drop to your foot and do a half or a full. Lower down. And then inhale, upward facing dog. Well done. All right, exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to float to plank. Hold in your plank. And then we're going to come into a side plank. So take the left hand underneath the face. Come on to the left side of your foot. You can either place your right foot down for support. You can place it on top of the other foot. You can lift your right hand high, or you can come into a star. Hold it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to your plank. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. And exhaling, downward facing dog. Float to plank. Right hand goes under the face and come into a side plank of your choice. Either here, here, hand can be on your waist. It could be here, it can be here, or it can be here. Whoop, hold it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower all the way down. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Taking your chin to the chest, tuck the elbows in. We're going to start to roll up on the inhale. And then roll down. Roll up. And then roll down. Roll up. And roll down. Roll up. Hold it there. Elbows are tucked in. The crease of the elbows is facing forwards. Roll down. Bring your hands now to the corners of your mat and roll up into a seal pose. Roll your belly button. So you've got a little bit of activation with the glutes here, but roll your belly button in towards the earth to find your lower back stretch. Hold it there. Keep the breath nice and steady. And lower down. Coming into a shoulder stretch here, so it's probably going to muffle my mics a bit, so just you'll get where I'm at. Right hand comes underneath the shoulder, left hand's out at shoulder height. Lift the right leg off the floor and roll onto the left side of your hip. Okay, if your knees allow, you can bend the knee, place the right foot on the floor, or if that's too much for your hips and your knees, just have a straight leg all the way over. All right, wherever we've got to, bring the right hand high, tuck it behind the back and start to roll onto you a little bit further onto your left hip. Hold it there. Making sure the head's rested on the floor. It's a really deep shoulder stretch, this one. So kind of just see if we can enjoy it for what it is. But, you know, if I've got particularly like butch shoulders personally, like quite strong shoulders. And I find these quite intense, but like super, super necessary. And we're going to bring the right hand high, place that back on the mat and roll back onto your tummy and gently bend this left elbow, placing the left hand underneath the shoulder. Right hand's out at shoulder height, forehead to the floor. We're pushing into the mat with the left hand and rolling onto the right hip. All right, either bending the knee or just placing the foot behind. So just left knee's bent and then placing that foot on the outer side. And then left hand's high and tuck that behind the back and roll a little further onto the right hip. Inhale as you bring the left hand high, place it on the mat, roll back onto your tummy, forehead goes down, hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale as you gently start to lift up and crawl your knees underneath your hips. We're going to come into Anahatasana now, so melting heart pose. So toes are together, knees nice and wide, another deep shoulder stretch here. Bring your hands to the top corner of the mat. Tilt through the pelvis so the bum's in the air, and then bring the chest and the chin down and in towards the mat. If that feels too intense, then take your forehead down. And I want you to imagine some thread, like a golden thread, just pulling your heart in towards the earth. Really activating that heart chakra. So remembering that Anahata in Sanskrit translates to unstricken or unhurt. So activating that kind of ability to be compassionate and forgiving and loving. All of those wonderful qualities of Anahata, the heart chakra. And then lifting all the way up, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, turn the toes underneath, downward facing dog. Roll to plank, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale as you come into an upward facing dog. And exhale as you come into downward facing dog. From here, we'll bend the knees and gaze forward, walk, step or jump into a halfway lift, shoulders up and chest down. Exhale, tucking into a deep fold. Inhale, hands to sky. And exhale, back down. Tamasita here. All right, then last flow, we're going to incorporate our, what they're called, malasanas, so low squats. So again, we're not going to be stressing about how high or low we can get. What we're wanting to achieve here is a nice hip opener. Should have put my watch on today so I could have kept an eye on the time. 1:15, brilliant. Okie dokes. So we're going to take the feet nice and wide. You'll know when you start to squat down how wide that your feet need to be. The more advanced you get, the kind of narrower they become. So bringing the hands to the heart space, turn the tailbone under and slowly, slowly, slowly start to squat down. Get as low as you can and then just adjust your feet accordingly. Not everyone's going to be able to get the heels to the floor, so we're just going to be patient with our bodies. Take it nice and low. Scoop the knees up with the backs of the arms and then lift the chest high as you turn the tailbone under. We're going to hold our malasana here, really activating for the root chakra, okay? Root chakra is all about our sense of safety, security, survival, being able to stand on our own 2 feet. So really activating as well for bringing us out of fight and flight. So we're going to bring the hands to the floor and see if we can walk, step or jump into a plank position. And then lower down for chaturanga. Inhale as you come into upward facing dog. And exhale as you come into a downward facing dog. We're going to see if we can jump back into that malasana, that low squat. So bend the knees and gaze forward, walk, step or jump. All righty, so getting into position. Struggling with this mic, it keeps popping off. All righty, so sorry about that mic, guys. So bring the hands nice and low, push into the knees and lift the chest high. Aim in the base of the spine right the way down towards the earth. Hold it there. Really feeling that opening of the hips. And then the hands are coming to the floor, walking, stepping or jumping back into our plank position. And then lower down for chaturanga. Inhaling upward facing dog. And exhaling downward facing dog. Bend the knees and gaze forward, walk, step or jump into a halfway lift this time. And exhale as you tuck into a deep fold. Inhale and bring the hands to sky. And exhale back down. Tamasita here. Awesome work. Right then, let's go onto the floor into seated. We're going to carry on working with the hips. So we're going to come into Baddha Konasana, bound ankle pose. The soles of the feet together. Let's take a basket over the top of the feet and we're going to begin to flap the knees. My favorite pose, and I know I'll go on about it a lot, but when I first started my yoga journey, I could barely do a forward fold. I was practically upright and it used to really frustrate me. And I always thought it was my back. Now I do have quite a stiff back anyway, but I had a really shortened psoas muscle. So from here, under the thigh to the lower lumbar spine, lower 3 lumbar spine. So it really helps kind of make that a little bit more elasticated. So open the feet like a book, recognize that you've got paint all over your feet because you were glossing yesterday. Literally green and purple paint all over my feet. Take the elbows down, lift up, take the face forwards, find that edge in your psoas muscle, hold it there, and then release the head down. Keep breathing into it. See if you can force those knees down a little bit more, always finding your edge. Now your edge moves, the deeper we go into these poses. So as it starts to move, you start to feel that release, and we're just going to take it down a little bit further. And then inhale as you lift up and exhale at the top. So we're going to take the feet nice and wide. You can always lift up and take the bottom forwards. And then we're going to bring the hands to the floor. Okay, so as we start to crawl forwards, I want you to be really mindful that you're not rolling forwards. The hinge is coming from the hips. So from here, lift up and then start to crawl forwards. I like to keep my chest nice and high because it stops me trying to aim the the head down to the floor. Oh, gosh, find your edge, guys, and breathe into it. Oh, I'm feeling this today. Ouch. All right, lift up and let's see if we can squeeze a little bit more out of it. And then lift the hands off the floor and stretch. Hold it there. And then lifting the hands all the way up. We're going to draw the hands all the way back down. And then place the feet flat on the floor and just take the knees from side to side. And then take the knees over to the right. We're going to just gaze over the left shoulder. Over to the other side. Gaze over the right shoulder. And then back to center. We're going to lay on our backs. Release the left leg to the floor and just take a basket underneath your right thigh and just kick up through the right heel. Find that edge. Now, my edge always shows up as a bit of shaking, particularly when you do this stretch first thing in the morning. Okay, bend the left knee so the left foot's flat on the floor, and then take the right foot over the left knee. Lift the left leg off the floor and take a basket underneath the left thigh, and then pull that in towards the body. Breathe into it. Keep your breath nice and steady. And then release from there. So releasing the right leg to the floor, we're just going to bring the left knee up and just take a basket underneath the left thigh, and then just kick up through the left heel. Breathe into this stretch, really pushing up. Oh gosh, this is shaking a lot more on this leg. And then bend the right knee. Place the left foot over the right knee. Lift the right foot off the floor. Take a basket this time underneath your right thigh and squeeze it into the body. Find your glute stretch on the left side. Hold it there. Gonna check the time. Excellent. Okay, releasing from there, we're going to come into our relaxation. So we're just going to do a bit of activation before we come into relaxation. And I want you to sort of see this as a bit of a visualization as to how sometimes we can hold on to things a little bit too tightly and it stops us kind of moving through life. So we can hold on to like resentment. We can hold on to the idea of how people should be treating us. We could hold on too tightly to how we think we should be showing up in the world. So just lying down. And I want you to sort of see this kind of relaxation as a visual representation of that. So it's going to be like an activating, a squeezing, a holding on, so that we can recognize how good it feels just to release. Okay, so with the eyes closed down and we're lying down, we're going to start just to squidge the toes up. So just kind of activate the toes, squeezing them in. Now, if you get a little bit of cramp, then you can just squeeze the toes together instead of like curling them under. So keep squeezing those toes. Then we're going to take a big inhale and then release. And then we're going to start to squeeze the toes and the calves, squeezing super, super tight, holding on to all of those judgments, all of those resentments, our ideas of how we think things should be. Take an inhale, exhale, release. Okay, so our next few breaths, we're going to take more of an inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to sigh out through the mouth. So this time we're going to squeeze the toes, the calves, the thighs, and the buttocks. We're going to squeeze super tight, holding on to everything, showing us what it feels like when we're rigidly holding on to things. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Take a big inhale whilst you're squeezing. Exhale with a sigh and release. This time we're going to squeeze the toes, the calves, the thighs, the buttocks. We're going to squeeze that mula bandha, so squeezing the sex organs in and up, and draw the navel in, the Udayana bandha. So squeezing the whole lower part of the body, squeezing as tight as you possibly can. Keep squeezing. Squeezing. Take a really big inhalation now. Exhale with a sigh. This time we're going to squeeze the toes, the calves, the knees, the thighs, the buttocks, the mula bandha, the uddiyana bandha, and we're going to squeeze the chest. So all around the torso, almost activating those shoulders, maybe pulling the shoulders in an inward direction and squeeze everything so tight. And we can hold on to these thoughts so tightly, these beliefs so tightly, and they just get in the way of flow. So that we're representing that as we're holding on and squeezing, 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 squeezing. Take an inhale. Exhale, release with a sigh. This time we're squeezing the toes, the calves, the knees, the thighs, the buttocks, the mula bandha, the uddiyana bandha, chest, shoulders, arms. Place your thumb inside your fist and squeeze. So the whole of the body just squeezing so tight, squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. It can be painful. It's hard work to hold on this tightly. So just recognizing that when we're really holding on to these thoughts so tightly and these beliefs so tightly, it's exhausting. Let's take a big inhale. Exhale, release with a sigh. Last one then, toes, calves, knees, thighs, squeezing the buttocks, squeezing the uddiyana bandha, squeezing the mula bandha, chest, shoulders, arms, thumbs into face. Screw your face up. So we're squeezing the whole body now, super tight, squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Just recognizing how exhausting, how activating it is to hold on to all of these things so rigidly, squeezing, squeezing. The idea of needing to be perfect, the idea that people should treat us a certain way and that the world should work a certain way. Just keep squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Now take a really big inhale, filling up the lungs. Keep squeezing as we hold the breath. Exhale with a great big sigh. Just feel what it's like when we come into that place of surrender. And now we're just going to follow the breath in and out of the body. Eyes are closed. We're supported by Gaia, the Earth Mother. And we're just following the breath in and out of the body. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, no one to please, no one to serve, no one to look after. Just simply breathing and simply being. Noticing when the mind wanders, when the mind starts to sneak off somewhere else into the future, what we're doing after this class, what we're doing for the rest of the weekend. Maybe we're plotting, we're planning, maybe we're worrying. See if you can guide your awareness back to the breath and just watch the breath. Maybe we're going over past hurt. Maybe we're going over things in the past that we missed. Gently, we're not pushing anything away, just gently drawing our awareness back to the current moment. I am breathing in and I am breathing out. I am breathing in and I am breathing out. Let's expand our awareness now to a sense of hearing. We're not going to label anything that we can actually hear. We're not going to judge it. So when I say judgment, I mean coming into that Raja and Dvesha that I like, I don't like, I prefer, I don't prefer. We're just going to notice the current moment with our sense of hearing. Just observe. And draw your awareness to your sense of taste. Again, just noticing, we're not labeling or judging, we're just noticing. We're being present in this moment. Your sense of smell. Then begin to notice the air in the room as it touches your skin. Begin to notice the clothes as they touch your skin. Begin to notice any parts of the body that are making contact with the earth. Noticing that steady support beneath you. Noticing the heaviness of the body as it lays here, resting. Maybe you'll even notice your thoughts as they pass through the mind, but also notice them as an occurrence in this moment. You just happen to be thinking, you happen to have a thought. It's just an occurrence in this moment. It's not who you are. And as we begin to notice this current moment and be fully present in it, we're separating it from the rest of our day-to-day lives. We're also separating it from our life situations. We all have life situations that are challenging. But all I'm asking you to do is just single out one moment, just this one. And see if we can accept it fully, accepting this moment for everything that it is, and noticing how beautiful it is, how peaceful it is, how perfect this moment really is. Just this moment. And as you draw your awareness back to your breath, you're going to start to deepen your breath. So taking a deeper inhale now. And a long, slow, steady exhale. Inhale deeply. And a long, slow, steady exhale. One more deep inhale. Long, slow, steady exhale. And then we're going to bring some light activation into the body. We'll begin to wriggle our fingers and our toes. And then we're going to take the hands above the head. We're going to give ourselves a big stretch out. And as you draw your knees up to your chest, give yourself a nice big hug and send in that sense of gratitude for showing up for you and your practice today, and know how fully deserved you are of this time. And we'll gently just roll onto our sides. We'll keep our eyes closed and just reconnect a little bit more to your surroundings. And our mantra for the day: may the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries, and may the breeze blow new strength into your being. Taking your time and keeping your eyes closed, let's slowly make our way up to a comfortable seated position. And as we bring the hands together, let's give them a rub, make them nice and warm. And then pop those warm hands over the eyes and softly, gently open the fingers and the eyes to let the light in. And if you wish, bring your hands to prayer. Namaste. There we are. Well done. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Have a wonderful weekend and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.